Well, hello everyone, welcome here. My name is Brendan. I am one of the designers on Mythwind, and today I want to show you a little bit of Mythwind's gameplay, and specifically the farmer's gameplay. See, Mythwind is a big old asymmetrical cooperative game where you live the life of a pioneer and adventurer in a persistent world. And that means that you actually make permanent changes, not only to the town space, but to your character's role itself. And so today I want to actually show you a little bit about this experience. And for Mythwind, we have designed a tutorial that actually teaches you how to play as you are playing. And this is really key because there's several different concepts going on here. We have what's going on in the town and then what's going on with the unique characters. Nathan has filmed the crafter character playthrough and you can go ahead and watch that. But right now I want to focus in on the farmer. And so this is kind of a basic setup. You see here we have the town, we have the farmer board, we have kind of the farmer unique components, the character, role skills, and some coin that you start out with. And on the town, a little bit lay of the land. All right, we have our season tile, our town resources, which, sorry, hey, just a FYI, everything here is prototype. And so you'll notice some of these elements aren't as they should be. And we have our adventure deck and our event deck here, rulebook, journal. So I think we're all set and everything has followed the setup. The unique thing with the rulebook as you kind of walk through, you complete the setup and then it gives you this cue to go to your journal. And the journal is really your character's guide throughout Mythwind. So all of your character's specific actions are found in here, but also a day-by-day walkthrough during the tutorial is inside of your character's journal. So it's really, really neat. It's handy. So the rule book, just kind of looking at the tutorial for the rule book, it actually brings you to the first day. So it's your first day. And in Mythwind, each turn is one in-game day. And each day is divided into 3 phases. We have dawn, daytime, and dusk. So during the dawn phase, you draw 1 weather card from the weather deck. And let's just go ahead and do it because you're supposed to do the tutorial as you're supposed to play as you learn. So we're going to draw the weather card. And right here we have this, we have a couple things going on. And the weather card itself actually says, the weather card will mark each passing day. The bottom of the card indicates the weather of the day, and when an event icon, that's at the top left, is triggered, read the top card of the event deck before taking your town action. Okay, so I'm just supposed to go ahead, I guess, and read the event card. So here we go. I drew the top card of the event deck. Arrival is the title. Your party has arrived in a clearing. The forest is thinned as you've gotten closer to the tower that you could see when first entering the valley. Between you and the tower, still a distance away, are some rundown foundations. A few walls still barely stand, but clearly a community used to exist here. And I just want to pause there because we actually missed a little bit of story to begin with. And I want to read this because everyone needs some fluff. Everyone needs some story. On an inconspicuous day, a chance encounter with magical sprites has led to an invitation to come to their valley. Their home has fallen into disrepair and they need outside help to restore balance. The sprites hope that you are the thoughtful settlers they need to help the valley thrive. Okay, so we're invited into this valley and we find this tower in this rundown community. And so I'm going ahead and flipping the next event card. One of the sprites that guided you into the valley tugs your hand and points toward the forest as a large tree falls with a thud across the path you traveled. It will have to be dealt with. Okay, so that's the story. And then it provides what I'm supposed to do. All players must go to the adventure action in town during the daytime phase. That town action is taken once, but all players will take the corresponding character action When the adventure is resolved, consult your player journal for the next steps. Okay, so take my character and I am gonna go on the adventure action. That's the icon there. There's a handy kind of icon list at the back of the rule book. And I'm gonna go ahead and draw the adventure. Here we go. Adventure, fallen tree. The tree has fallen here. Oh man, I got ahead of myself. The tree that has fallen here will block any future travelers. It certainly won't allow you to leave the valley easily. You'll have to chop it up to restore access to the path and then decide what to do with the lumber. Okay, so I have to decide what to do with the lumber. Take the lumber to your town for material, or use it to create a more stable path here and ease travel in the future. You know what? I want the material. I'm going to choose option A. Option A, more resources will make it easier to attract new residents to the town. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I got a little bit too much going on here. I get, there's these two icons. There's a production icon and an income icon, and they say +1 to each. So I'm going to go ahead and increase those +1. And it says at the top, make adjustments to the town resources by adding or removing the appropriate resources from the designated area. Great. So I went ahead and I did that. So, and then it said in the event card to go ahead and consult my journal. So day 1, town action, use the adventure phase. Great. Oh, I forgot to set up my farmer a little bit here. So the farmer has a couple things going on. This is, the farmer is, it's a polyomino mechanic. And at the beginning for setup, I'm supposed to place my farm crops at random on these 4 locations here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I gotta make sure they're on this side, technically the untended side. So it says plant a crop of your choosing. So I have to choose one of these and plant the crop. And it says select the crop tile that's furthest right on the crop track and place it into any available farmland in your farm tray. So this is my farm tray. These here, prototype pieces, this is untamed farmland. And I'm gonna go ahead, take this crop, because it's on the furthest right, and I'm gonna slot it in. You'll notice that we have this like cool player board so that it saves shut at the end of your game, and all of your polyominoes actually stay where you place them. So as I go ahead, I do that, and then plant another crop of your choosing. Mind the gold cost. What's going on here? Oh, it says it. Whenever you do a town action, there will be a corresponding farmer action. In this case, when you do the adventure action in town, it will trigger doing the plant action. So this is like the core of Mythwind. The core of Mythwind is this kind of like top action and bottom action mechanic. When you do an action with your character in town, that triggers an action on your character board. And so you kind of get this top action, bottom action. And specifically, when I do the adventure action in town, it triggers the plant action in on my player board. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plant this crop. And because it was in the second slot, I actually have to pay 1 coin to the supply. So I'm going to go ahead and in this case plant again, and then there's a couple rules here. There's this cost for each crop, a couple considerations when planting. The first time that you plant a crop variety, so there's a couple different types of crops that we can see here. You can plant it anywhere on your board, but if you have a matching crop type in your farmland while planting, the new crop must adjoin to the existing crop in some way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and slot that actually in, and it's going to slot in really, really nicely, right to the spot. I think that's the daytime phase, right? I went through the dawn phase, the daytime phase, and the last phase of a day is dusk. Great. I'm going to collect my farmer from town. And then I'm going to refresh my 4 crop areas. I'm going to move them to the far right, and then I'm going to introduce 2 more crops on these sections. And you know, I could purchase a crop from the far left. It would just cost me, or when I plant, it would just cost me 3 coins to do so. Okay, day 2, dawn phase. Draw a weather card. Oh, there's some writing on it. When you discard this weather card, stack it on the previous previous game day's cards so that the weather can be seen as you continue to add to them. So look at this. I actually stacked it incorrectly because what you want to do is showcase the weather of each day. So I have it stacked correctly, and it says draw an event card. All right, let's go ahead and draw it. Humble beginnings. A gathering is held to decide the town's first steps. The rain convinces everyone that a roof is needed to make future meetings more agreeable. Agreed. All players must go to the build action in town during daytime. They will build the longhouse during this turn. That town action is taken once, but all player actions will do the corresponding town action. So, and it says read event card 4. All right, so I'm actually going to go ahead, take the build action right here, and then event card 4. The cost to build is at the top of the building tile. Okay, I'm supposed to grab the longhouse. Here we go. So we have the cost to build at the top. So it's production -1. It says lower the production resource from the town resources by 1 to place the longhouse into the build queue. The queue number tells you where it goes in the build queue. And this is queue number 1. And these are the different slots. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go ahead and place it into Q1. Great, so I completed the action, and now it is the daytime phase, completed the town action, time to do my my character action. It says you plant a crop. Okay, so it sounds like I always get to plant crops. And you know what? What kind of crops are these? Oh, these are strawberries. I've been on a strawberry kick, and I noticed that my second crop is strawberries. I'm gonna go ahead and pay another gold just to plant strawberries because I'm liking my field of strawberries. And now it says buy livestock. The construct town action is tied to the buy livestock farmer action. Buying livestock will cost you 3 gold. It may seem that money's tight. Okay, so I'm gonna buy livestock. And why do I want livestock? I guess I'm gonna learn about that more once I get some farm equipment. So, you know, to buy livestock, you gotta first get the livestock, and I forgot to take them out of the tray. A nice little storage here, so I'm just gonna take out some livestock and some sprinklers, and there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna buy some livestock, and I'm gonna put it just right there. Okay, great. Collect the farmer from the town, refresh the 4 crop areas, so move everything to the right. And we are on day 3 of the tutorial. As always, draw a weather card. The weather card, it has a new icon on it. What's the text say? The build queue is a prompt to advance buildings in the build queue. As the longhouse advances past step 1, it is built and placed into town. You receive a worker and a sprite die to go to the town immediately. Don't forget to roll them. We'll explain how they work soon. Okay, so the longhouse is built. I'm gonna place it right there, and it says, you know, at the bottom of the longhouse's actions has the reward for building it. So it's a blue die and a orange die, and I'm gonna go ahead and roll them, representing workers and sprites. Okay, we got a 2 blue and a 1 orange. I guess they're gonna come into play in a moment. Daytime phase. And then I'm supposed to do a an event card. Hamish leans against the longhouse. Yep, that's solid. Now that this building is done, I've seen a couple of new residents show up, as well as these sprite helpers. We've been chatting, and anyone who needs the helpers can come to the tower to hire a worker or a sprite. The tower is where you go to perform the hire action. The cost to hire in gold is listed above the tower, and you can hire multiple worker and or sprite dice per hire action. All players must go to the hire action. Okay, so here we have the ability to hire one dice for 2 coins or 2 dice for 5 coins. And you know what? I'm gonna be a big spender. I'm gonna hire both of these. They go into my player tray, and I go, read event card 7. Workers and sprites are dice that can be spent. You know, the question, what can the dice do, right? Workers and sprites are dice that can be spent to bolster what you can accomplish with your character. Refer to your character's journal to see exactly how they benefit you. Every time a worker or a sprite does an action, reduce the value of that die by 1. Okay, good to know. So day 3, daytime phase. I've hired workers and sprite. I need to plant a crop because that's kind of just that's what my character does. I'm going to go ahead, plant these crops. And okay, now I get to harvest a crop. That's great. Hiring a helper triggers the harvest a crop action. So yeah, hiring a helper here triggers hiring a crop. Triggers hiring or harvesting. So to harvest, I actually can just remove any of these crops, and I get the gold associated with that. So I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to remove the one I just planted. Remove the one I just planted. I get two coins for that, 2 gold. But wait, now that I have a sprite or a worker, in this case I have both, I can actually use them to augment my ability. Okay, so this is great. So I hired, and that was an orange die I needed. So this is the worker die. I'm actually going to spend the worker die by going into my location, and by when I spend it, I use a pip. If it's the last pip, you have to re-roll it, and it goes back into the town. But then I get to do that action again, so I get to harvest again, which is great. So I'm going to harvest this one at the end here. So that's another 2 coins for me. Getting rich, making the money. Dusk phase. Take the farmer from town, and okay, spend a coin to return the sprite or worker dice to the helper pool, or return them to the town. So here's the thing: if this dice had a larger pip count than just 1, it would reduce, right? It would go from 2 to 1. And then if I wanted to keep the worker, I would have to pay a coin, so it would go into my pool. Otherwise, it gets re-rolled and goes back into town. And it was out of 3. Okay. So I think I want to do one more day just to show you a little bit of the farmer and maybe talk through a few more things. But one more day, because this is a big one for the farmer. The farmer, okay, day 4. Draw the weather card. It's an event. Hamish catches your attention by the longhouse. Those workers and sprites are good helpers, eh? With the extra help, you may have time to work on your skills. Come to the longhouse to practice. Okay, so I actually get to go to the longhouse with my character. And all players must go to the longhouse building tile in town during the daytime. At the longhouse, a player can improve their skills. Add a basic skill to your character for free. For more info on upgraded skills, see your journal. So I get to add a skill for free, and the journal says I get to add green thumb for free. What this means is that I actually get to place this kind of upgraded, level up roll skill ability into one of my action slots. So it corresponds to what's going on with my character. In this case, I attached it to my use a building action slot. And so, I used the building. I got my roll skill. Good. Oh, I forgot to refresh my crops last turn. I got my roll skill. I'm going to go ahead and plant, because I always plant. And then I get to tend. Tending is very simple. You take a crop and you flip it over, and it becomes grown, and now it's worth more money. So now when I harvest it, I get more money. It's great. So I have planted the crop, I have tended the land, and you know what? I'm going to use my sprite dice to tend another piece of land, and I'm going to go ahead. So we run into a little issue with this one in the middle. When I tend it, you flip it over, but sometimes when you flip over a Tetris shape, a polyomino piece, you actually have to rearrange it. And as long as one of the spots is the same, you can move it. So I'm going to actually tend it so it goes just like so. So I spent my sprite, and I get to do one more thing because I have a roll skill which allows me to plant. So I'm going to spend 1 coin. I'm going to plant the one second to the right. I'm just gonna plant it over there. I'm running out of space here, okay? I'm running out of space. I might have to clear some land pretty soon. But I got something good going on. So I've tended the land. I collect the farmer. I think I'm finished for my turn. And I have a decision to make. Do I want to keep this one? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna keep this sprite die, and that cost me 1. And I go ahead to the next day. And I know I said I was only gonna do 1 more turn, but I actually wanna see what's next. Because I think what is next is going to, I think this is gonna potentially help me. I hope it's gonna help me. Yeah, it's gonna help me. Okay, so what's next? Again, draw a tutorial card. Fantastic. It shows the event icon. The sprite who led you into the valley pulls you aside. She's one of the few who speaks and seems to be a leader among her people. Her name is Fix. These things seem to be progressing nicely. All players must go to the town improvement section, that's up there, and perform the town improvement action. The cost to improve the resource varies depending on your character, and you can see it on your player board or in the journal. And it says read event card 10. I can see the plans to build a general store. Good for you, but you lack the resources. Let me help you. Magically raise the level of your food, income, production, and culture by 1. And interesting, I forgot to actually spend my production for building the longhouse. I'm gonna go ahead and remove my resources 1. Fantastic, and now I get to do my my town action. Look at that, I always forget to refresh my crops. Uh-oh. I actually can't plant. I can't plant. Okay. Buy a farm upgrade and or more livestock. Equipment upgrades will improve how your farm functions as long as they have livestock to work them. You will benefit from their presence. This means that there are 2 costs to an equipment upgrade. First, the gold required to buy the upgrade. Secondly, you'll need enough livestock to run the equipment. Okay, sweet. For the tutorial, you'll get the sprinkler for free. Place the sprinkler carefully because once it's set, you can't move it again. The second part of this action is moving livestock that you own. In the future, you can still do this part of the action even if you decide not to buy an equipment upgrade. For this game day, move the livestock you own onto the sprinkler, indicating that it is now ready to work. From now on, the sprinkler will allow you to tend 1 crop adjacent to it whenever you take the tend action. Okay, so it just boosts it. I'm gonna move it up there. I'm gonna move my my livestock on top of it. Cool. So that was the town action. Oh, remember your green thumb skill, which I've already performed. And then dust phase, grab it. So you see the rhythm of the farmer, where the farmer plants, the farmer tends, the farmer harvests, makes money, upgrades their farm. I have just scratched the surface. There's a lot of farm upgrades. There's a lot of livestock. There's a lot of kind of juggling my polyomino world, and it's really fun. So the whole thing, right? I get the events, I have the town, and I have just kind of broken through the tutorial. There's actually that's like the end of the official tutorial, but we haven't even touched base on the goals or the farmer achievements. There is a lot to explore here in Mythwind, and you get all this in a persistent cooperative package, right? So I close this up, I put all my materials away in my tray, snap the lid shut, pack it away, and we're good to go. You know, we are trying we're trying our best to make this like a smooth and clean experience where you can pull it out and start playing quickly, and also you get the wonders of progression, of building up your town, of building up your character, unlocking new skills, unlocking secrets, opening secret envelopes, because that is fantastic. And so thanks for checking out this farmer tutorial playthrough. Hopefully you've checked out the Kickstarter. We look forward to having you a part of our community. Thanks.